One cop shot a 12-year-old boy 2 seconds after jumping out of a moving car. Another pumped 8 bullets into a man running away from a traffic stop. Different cities, different circumstances, same deadly pattern. They were just more names added to a long list of victims where officers turned their badges into weapons. The force meant to protect them ultimately became the reason they didn't make it home. Here's how 2 routine calls, one about a toy gun, the other about a brake light, ended in bloodshed, and how both cases, caught on camera and dissected in courtrooms, exposed everything broken in American policing.
Start of the tape, you see Tamir Rice playing around with the pellet gun as he paces up and down the sidewalk.
It was cold in Cleveland. Tamir Rice was just 12 years old, playing alone in a park with a toy gun, something countless kids have done without incident. But on November 22nd, 2024, a series of decisions turned that playtime into a fatal police shooting.
At the start of the tape, you see Tamir Rice playing around with the pellet gun as he paces up and down the sidewalk. At one point, he could be seen gathering up a snowball from the grass and tossing it onto the sidewalk in front of him. Pretty normal 12-year-old stuff. Later, when he's under the gazebo, you may notice that Rice is completely alone. There he is in the back there, at that table. No one with him, much less a whole group. And when the police car pulls up, it's about 2 seconds before Tamir Rice is down on the ground.
A 911 caller had reported someone in the park pointing a gun at people, adding more than once that it was probably fake. But when Cleveland officers Timothy Lohman and Frank Garmbach were dispatched, the crucial detail about the gun possibly being fake wasn't passed along. Even more telling, the dispatcher repeatedly asked if the person was black or white, as though that somehow shaped the threat level. When the officers arrived, they didn't approach slowly or assess the situation. They drove their cruiser directly onto the grass, pulling up fast beside the gazebo. The patrol car barely stopped before Lohman jumped out and fired. 2 seconds. That's how long it took from opening the door to pulling the trigger. No meaningful commands, no time for Tamir to respond, just 2 shots.
Is this a bored child or a threat to public safety? Someone who saw him pacing around a Cleveland park was worried enough to call the police.
The guy keeps pulling it out. It's probably fake, but you know what? He's scaring the out.
A patrol car arrives at the scene, and seconds later,
shots fired, male down, black male, maybe 20, black revolver, black handgun.
Tamir died the next day from injuries to his major organs. He'd been shot in the torso at close range. A toy gun in his waistband had triggered a deadly overreaction.
Voice, and they wanted to speak out today about this decision that they feel was unjust. Then they marched from here, from the gazebo, close to 30 blocks to the police station in Cleveland, the 1st District Police Station. They wanted to file some complaints. When they got there, unfortunately, they were met with locked doors. The police temporarily closed the police station there.
And it didn't stop there. Tamir's sister was tackled and handcuffed when she ran to her brother. His mother was threatened with arrest for reacting to the horror unfolding in front of her.
Rice is on the ground, bleeding to death. His sister comes over.
A female, black female, came out running, screaming, saying, "You shot my brother, you shot my brother."
As Rice is dying, his sister is handcuffed and put in the back of a squad car.
Worse, Tamir lay there for 4 minutes before receiving any aid. An FBI agent who wasn't even part of the Cleveland PD was the first to offer help. Why? Because the officers who shot him reportedly didn't know what to do. That kind of admission would be stunning if it weren't so consistent with the rest of the story.
And I started screaming verbal commands. "Put your hands in the air, put your hands in the air, let me see your hands, freeze, put your hands in the air." I said numerous times out loud, and I presented my gun, through the window, so,
Is your window down?
It was closed, I believe, not 100%, I believe it was closed.
In the video we've shown you so many times, based on what Timothy Lohman said, he yelled again and again and again from about 20 or 30 yards away. Somehow he claims he was able to give commands several times with the windows up. But the video shows something different. In less than 2 seconds of opening the door, Lohman fires. He says twice.
It was that quick where the black male turned, lifted up his shirt, grabbed, reached in his waistband, pulled up the weapon, and that's, at that time I was probably about like this, and that's when I had to fire 2 shots.
Lohman says Rice was reaching for a gun in his waistband.
He did not punch out or present it, because when he got about this far, that's when I shot.
Why?
Because I believed there was a threat to myself and my partner, and it was, in order to kill us or harm us.
Video footage of the shooting, released only after public outcry, clearly showed Tamir wasn't pointing the toy gun at anyone when officers arrived. It also contradicted police claims that Lohman gave multiple commands before shooting.
In the middle of tonight's Cleveland City Council meeting, protesters stood up one by one.
We hereby set premium standards of transparency for the Cleveland Police Department.
They railed against Cleveland police and their deadly actions against people like 12-year-old Tamir Rice. They demanded justice for the victims and called for the Civilian Police Review Board to be more powerful.
We demand a reconstructed Citizens Review Board. Rob complaints about against the police.
Despite widespread outrage and a detailed investigation, the grand jury chose not to indict either officer. The prosecutor blamed a perfect storm of mistakes. Tamir's mother saw it differently, accusing the prosecutor of sabotaging the case and acting more like a defense attorney than a representative of the public.
My personal condolence to the Rice family for the loss of their child. These times are always difficult for me because I know that there's nothing that I can say that will be adequate in terms of their pain and their suffering that they're going through now.
Eventually, the city paid the Rice family $6 million in a settlement, though it came with no admission of wrongdoing, a price tag for a child's life, but no accountability.
His family wanted these recordings released, and the police obliged.
This is not an effort to exonerate. It's not an effort to show the public that anybody did anything wrong.
Police say Tamir was told 3 times to raise his hands, but his family questions the speed of the incident.
The Rice case became a national symbol of how quickly things can escalate when police treat black children like threats, and how often justice doesn't follow tragedy. Next is a case that was caught entirely on camera, leaving no room for debate and no doubt about what happened. Yet, even then, justice had to fight its way to the front. On April 4th, 2015, just 4 months after Tamir's killing, another name would be added to the growing list: Walter Scott. He was pulled over in North Charleston, South Carolina, for a broken brake light. A minor infraction, but for Walter, a 50-year-old black man with child support issues and a few prior arrests, that traffic stop felt like a trap. He ran. Little did he know that it would be his end.
Oh shit. Shit. Oh shit.
Officer Michael Slager fired 8 times. 5 of those bullets hit Walter Scott. 3 struck him square in the back. 1 lodged in his buttocks. Another grazed his car. Walter collapsed and died on the spot. His body lay in the dirt, while Slager claimed that Scott had grabbed his taser. The official story was that the officer feared for his life, but the video says otherwise. Slager was arrested only after the video surfaced. Without it, this would have likely been another justified shooting buried under a thin police report.
Michael Slager admitted what he did.
The family of Walter Scott cried as the plea was read in court. The defendant used deadly force, even though it was objectively unreasonable under the circumstances.
The road to justice wasn't smooth. Slager's first trial in state court ended in a mistrial. It took a federal civil rights charge and a guilty plea to secure a conviction. He was eventually sentenced to 20 years in prison, with the judge calling it second-degree murder.
This plea, he still faces life in prison, but could get much less.
The victory was him admitting that he did wrong.
Last year, Slager went to trial on state murder charges. He told the court he was in total fear for his life when Scott grabbed his stun gun during a struggle.
In my mind at that time, people don't run from a broken tail light.
Jurors could not reach a verdict, and prosecutors vowed to retry the case.
Walter's case was different because the evidence couldn't be hidden, but it still took years and a cell phone camera to get the measure of justice. Without that footage, Slager would probably still be on patrol. Together, Tamir and Walter's stories show just how much can go wrong and how long it can take to hold police accountable, if it happens at all. And it raises a hard question: what happens in the cases we never see?
With this plea, he still faces life in prison, but could get much less.
The victory was him admitting that he did wrong.
If this breakdown hit you, like, subscribe, and comment. Tell us what other stories need to be told. Tag a friend, share your thoughts, and keep the truth rolling.